Back in 2023, I crowned this small rig teleprompter the best money could buy. But it is 2025 now, and there's a new challenger. Meet the Neewer X11. Let's see if the new kid on the block is really worth your money. Now, I have used tons of different kinds of teleprompters in my time making videos on this platform, so I am super confident we will be able to put this little thing through its paces and see if it's time to retire my small rig in place for the Neewer X11. With that in mind, we are going to go through 5 categories today, ranking each category out of 10 to see what kind of score Neewer's latest teleprompter gets based on my experience working with teleprompters over the past few years. Whoa. Before we dive in fully, it is disclaimer time. Neewer sent me this teleprompter for free, and they gave me an affiliate link, though ironically I don't know if it actually works anymore. Either way, Neewer doesn't see this video before it goes live, and they have no input into what I'm saying, so I promise I'll be telling you the good and the bad. We're gonna be honest here, folks. So yeah, use the link, don't use the link, I don't really care. Just enjoy the video and maybe even give it a little cheeky like. No purchase necessary. Okay, first impression, this thing looks a lot like the Elgato teleprompter, but maybe that's not such a terrible thing. Sure, the plastic construction feels both cheap and premium at the same time, like it could break at any moment. But the thing I do love is how easily it all assembles. It is super simple. There's no screws, but it still feels pretty stable. Personally, I would like the main beam splitter section to get smaller though, but I am sure most people won't care too much about that, especially if it's just going to sit in your office or studio. More importantly for me, however, is that this teleprompter doesn't hang off your lens like some models out there. Now, I've had my fair share of terrible experience with my desk view teleprompter way back in 2022, where it stripped the threads on my lens, and since then I refuse to hand things from my lenses, no matter how light the manufacturer claims it is. It also means you can use ND filters with the X11, which is crucial for the work I do, and one of the main reasons I actually bought the old small rig model. What it does have though is this, an 8-inch monitor being reflected onto an 11-inch mirror, meaning you shouldn't have an issue in seeing this from further away, a few feet back at least. It also has 2 cold shoe mounts on the top if you want to add a mic or a light, I guess. Look, overall a teleprompter design by its nature is never going to be too groundbreaking, particularly when you want to keep the cost down. I appreciate the fact that Neewer's X11 is an easy, sturdy setup, but where it has to lose points is actually a super simple fix, and that is the fact that it comes with no case. Like, it is 2025. You make something small and portable like this, it should come with a protective travel case. So for the cardinal sin of no case and a somewhat bulky main unit, Neewer, you get an 8.5 out of 10 for design. Here's where things get messy. My first unit arrived broken. Now, let me be very clear about this. I emailed my Neewer rep about the issue, and within 24 hours a new model was being shipped express to my door. But I told you I would be honest. It was actually this hinge piece right here that was broken, which was a mild frustration. So we know that they will be losing a point for that. However, I wanted to put my experience in this video, so if you do end up buying a unit for yourself and have the same issue, you can send Neewer this video to help with getting a replacement model. The monitor, however, is also super interesting. I love this monitor. I love the fact that there is no proprietary software needed. I love the fact that it works seamlessly with my iPhone 16 Pro without any issue. I love the auto rotate and flip feature, and I also love the option to run it via HDMI or USB-C. The fact that you have a mini HDMI built in also means you can use this monitor as a camera monitor if you want to get creative. So that is super cool, and honestly makes the price of this unit seem even more like a bargain.
Okay, so I wanted to show you what I meant by external monitor. So I have mini HDMI to full HDMI going into my camera, and then I'm powering it from USB-C to a V-mount battery. So yes, you can make this a little bit neater, but you can do it. You can use this thing as an external monitor. It won't come with all the bells and whistles of some other monitors, but the fact you can do it, it's pretty cool. 8-inch monitor, pretty cool.
So yeah, a broken first unit with exceptional customer service and a pretty great additional multi-use monitor puts our hardware score at a very respectable 7 out of 10. Neewer does have its own app, but I actually don't use it. Not that it's not good, it seems fine, but I'm a big advocate for the Prompt Smart app. Not sponsored, but really should be at this stage. So yeah, the Neewer app is totally fine. If you are new to teleprompters, it's free, so that's nice, but I think you could get a lot more bang for your buck out of really any teleprompter with something like the Prompt Smart app. I guess maybe we should remove this score section altogether, as it seems a bit unfair to judge them on software that I don't even use. This is the part that was always going to make or break my trust in the X11 as a daily use. The questions I know you have when it comes to purchasing any teleprompter. Number 1, can I use a wide-angle lens with the Neewer X11? Well, this is what it looks like at 16mm on the Sony G16-25. You'll notice all the black bits around the corners. This is the lens actually seeing the unit itself, but do not fret, this is pretty common for a wide-angle lens. I don't actually know a teleprompter out there that wouldn't be revealing itself at a 16mm focal length. However, this is at 20mm. Same lens, just zoomed in a little bit. So we're starting to see a little bit of the black going down here. We might be able to remove a little bit more depending on how much closer we can get it to the mounting itself. But in short, you can still see some of the unit in the actual video. This is what it looks like at 24mm on the same lens again, which is great because it is such a standard focal length for YouTubers and creators alike all over the world. So you can rest assured if you shoot at 24mm right now, you will not be getting the unit in your shot. Good to know. Secondly, can I use a long lens on it? And this is honestly where some of the biggest concerns I have with this unit start creeping in. See, while I was shooting the client work last week, I wanted to use my Sony 24-70 Mark II at 35mm. My camera, the Sony a7 IV, with that lens in this configuration would not fit as standard onto the unit. Meaning, in this configuration, I can't use that focal length. Like, it honestly broke my heart. And I ended up shooting on my 16-25mm in crop mode to get the frame I wanted, just to get it in camera. I hate any device I own that dictates my focal length that I use. Now, since that shoot, I have been experimenting and it seems like there are some workarounds. Like, you can take off the tripod plate and just set the teleprompter on a light stand with your camera on a tripod behind it, for example. Or use the extender plate, which is actually meant for smaller cameras, but I've used it in reverse, and while it felt shaky, to say the least, it did actually work. Honestly though, this really stopped the momentum I was having for this teleprompter and had me second guessing how useful it would actually be for my workflow. Interestingly, Neewer's promotional material show what looks like a Sony FX3 being used, so obviously they're trying to show that this product can be used with a full frame camera setup. And look, maybe I'm just doing something wrong. Neewer, if you are watching, let me know down in the comments below. And if you're not Neewer and you're watching and interested, tag them in the comments down below and let's compel them to answer us. Full frame cameras aside though, Neewer have also provided this, which is actually a phone mount if you want to record from your phone. And I gotta say, as far as phone mounts go, it's kind of great. Pretty simple, easy, stable, just Velcros on, comes off, screws here, great work. I do wish they built a little screw mount in the bottom though, because then I could have like a shelf for my phone as it's being used to run the teleprompter, and it could be oh so neat and orderly. Another question you should be asking yourself is, will you have any eye drift where you can see the eyes reading the text back and forth? Well, honestly, I don't notice it, but you tell me. I've been using the model throughout the whole video, so I'm sitting about 4 foot away. Have you noticed any erratic eye movements? Okay, so when it comes to scoring, like, I really can't make any excuses for such a common focal length not being supported on a full frame camera. When your marketing clearly shows you are using a full frame camera, look, I hope I'm just doing something wrong. But for now, 6.5 out of 10. Price is always an interesting one. If I told you right now that this unit costs 50 bucks, it probably wouldn't matter about any of the criticisms that I've had, and you would give this thing a shot just to see for yourself if you like it. Unfortunately, it is not $50, but fortunately, it is currently being sold over $100 cheaper than its champion, the Elgato teleprompter, coming in at $289.99. It's also coming out only slightly more expensive than my small rig unit, and you wouldn't have to get all the rods and plates to make that one work if you do end up getting the X11. With the addition of the external monitor, I think it's fair to say price here gets a 9 out of 10. Once we do take out the software segment, that leaves us with a solid 30.5 out of 40, so a B grade. My closing thoughts? I honestly do like the Neewer X11. It's great to see a company like Neewer make a more affordable version of a teleprompter. And sure, it has a few quirks and features I wish were improved upon, but overall, it's a simple, great little teleprompter, and I don't think I'd feel bad about recommending it to you. I would love Neewer to make a protective case for this thing and really make it portable, but alas, you can't win them all. What I will say they need to do, make a bigger hole for the lens. You know what I mean. Anywho, the Neewer X11. Is it the Elgato killer or just another budget option? Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you've used one already, drop your experience in the comment section. I'd love to compare notes. Until next time.